Good morning, students. In the previous class we have discussed about the consequences of lanthanide contraction. Okay. Today we shall discuss on occurrence of lanthanides and then the separation of lanthanides by ion exchange method, and then differences between lanthanides and actinides. Alright. Now what are the minerals of lanthanides? Except promethium, all members of lanthanides occur naturally. Okay. The important minerals of lanthanides are monazite. Okay. You can see the structure of monazite, and then bastanasite, and then cerite. So these are the three important minerals of lanthanides: monazite, bastanasite, and cerite. So we shall move to the next slide. Isolation of lanthanides by ion exchange method. Okay, how lanthanides are isolated by ion exchange method, or in other words, how they are separated by ion exchange methods. Alright. Now, ion exchange method is the most rapid and effective method. So this method is the most rapid as well as effective method. Okay. Now we shall see the procedure how lanthanides are isolated or separated. Aqueous solution containing the mixture of trivalent lanthanide ions. Okay, trivalent lanthanide ions in general they are represented by Ln3+. Okay, Ln is lanthanide, any lanthanide. Okay, so general they are represented as Ln3+. Okay, so aqueous solution of lanthanides is taken. Aqueous solution of lanthanides is taken. Okay. That is then made to pass through a column containing synthetic cation exchange resin represented as HR. This is also general formula. Okay, for cation exchange resin, HR is the the general formula. Okay, HR. This is in the solid form. So cation exchange resin exists in solid form. Okay, whereas the lanthanide ions exist in liquid form or aqueous form. Okay, so trivalent lanthanide ions are taken in the aqueous form. Alright. The cation exchange resin HR solid, which is in the solid form, okay, contains functional groups like carboxyl group and sulfonic acid group. Okay, so what is the formula of carboxyl group? COOH. Alright, and what is the formula of sulfonic acid? SO3H. Okay. So cation exchange resin consists of two functional groups. Which are the two functional groups? One is carboxyl group, other one is sulfonic acid group. Alright. Now in this lanthanide ions, that is Ln3+ ions, replace H+ ions of the resin and thus get fixed on it. Okay, you can see the equation over here down. Ln3+ in the aqueous form combines with the 3HR solid, which is in the solid form. Okay, that is nothing but resin, giving LnR3. That means what? The hydrogen ions of the resin replaced by what? Lanthanum ions. Okay, Ln. So you get product as LnR3 solid. Alright, plus 3H+. Okay, that is in the aqueous form. Alright. So next slide. The bonding of hydrated lanthanide ions depends upon the size. Now how is the bonding takes place? Hydrated lanthanide ions. Okay, lanthanide ions, that depends upon, okay, size. The bonding of hydrated lanthanide ions depends upon the size of the hydrated ion. Alright, that is, smaller the size of the ion, okay, greater will be the hydration. If the hydrated ion is how it gets hydrated? Smaller the ion, smaller is the lanthanide ion, then hydration will be more. Okay, so among the lanthanide ions in the lanthanide series, if the size of lanthanide ion, any lanthanide ion which is present in the lanthanide series, if it is smaller, okay, then hydration will be to a greater extent. Okay, greater extent. Therefore, in the case of lanthanide ions, smallest lanthanide ion, which is the smallest lanthanide ion? Lutetium. Okay, Lu3+, will be heavily hydrated. Since lutetium ion is smallest one among lanthanide series, it will be heavily hydrated. Okay. Thus, it will have maximum size. Now, once it gets hydrated, it will have what? Maximum size. Okay, maximum size. After hydration, and least firmly bound to the resin. If it has got maximum size after hydration, alright, it will be least firmly bound to the resin. That means weak bond between resin and the hydrated ion. Alright. whereas the lanthanide ion La3 plus is least hydrated, okay, will be most firmly bound to the resin. The least hydrated will be most bound to the resin. Okay, most hydrated, least firmly bound to the resin. If it is the least hydrated, firmly bound to the resin. Okay, in order to recover lanthanide ions fixed to the resin, okay, now you have to recover the lanthanide ions, because you know that least hydrated, most firmly bound to the resin. That means strong bond will be present between the hydrated ion and resin. Okay, if it is maximum hydration, then it means there is weak bond between the resin and the hydrated ion. Alright, now you have to separate respective ions, okay, lanthanide ions. Now how to separate? Okay, what is the procedure? That is known as recovering lanthanide ions. Okay, so in order to recover lanthanide ions, okay, fixed on the resin, column is eluted. Now resin column is eluted. Eluted means leached or it is washed. In other words, simple words, it is washed. It is washed with citric acid. Okay, so citric acid is added to the column. Alright, and then ammonium citrate solution. A mixture of citric acid and then what? Ammonium citrate solution is added. Alright, during the elution, ammonium ions replace lanthanide ions. Okay, you can see the equation over here. LnR3, which is the first equation, you got the product. LnR3 solid combines with one ammonium ions, which is in the present solution or solvent. Okay, you get 3 ammonium and then resin, so 3NH4R. Okay, and then Ln3 plus. Alright, Ln3 plus. Next slide. The metal lanthanide ions, okay, the metal ions of the lanthanide series then form complex with the citrate ions. So lanthanum ions are formed in the previous equation. They will combine with the citrate ions, because you are adding citrate ions also, okay, as a eluting agent, okay, or for elution or for washing. So that will combine. Lanthanide ions will combine with citrate ions to form lanthanum citrate complex. Okay, so a complex is formed. Since lutetium is attached to the resin with the minimum firmness, so which is attached with the weak bond or minimum firmness? Lutetium. Okay, lutetium citrate complex come out first. So which complex is formed first? Lanthanum Ln lutetium. Okay, because it is least firmly bound to the resin, so it will come out first. Alright, when you wash it with the ammonium citrate solution, citric acid ammonium citrate, which will come out first? Lutetium citrate. Why? Because it will be least firmly bound to the resin. Okay, so it will come out first, while lanthanum citrate emerges out last from the column. Lanthanum is most strongly bound to the resin. Okay, therefore it will come out last from the column. Alright, so this is the method, okay, by which you can separate one lanthanides. Okay, by which method? Ion exchange method. Alright, now next slide we will see. Okay, so we will see comparison of lanthanides and actinides. Similarities between lanthanides and actinides. Okay, what are the similarities between lanthanides and actinides? Both show common oxidation state of +3. Okay, you know that both lanthanides and actinides show common oxidation of +3. Okay, in both series f orbitals are progressively filled. Okay, that is already discussed. Both contain f orbitals in which there is a progressive filling of electrons. Okay, third point, lanthanide contraction resembles actinide contraction. Okay, both you have contraction. Lanthanides you have lanthanide contraction, actinides you have actinide contraction. Okay, sharp bands of color in both the complexes are due to FF transitions. You will find sharp bands of color in both the complexes. Okay, how you get sharp bands of color? Due to FF transition. What do you mean by FF transition? Electrons form one of the f orbital excited to the another f orbital, and then it comes back. Okay, goes back to the original position. Okay, so you will get sharp bands. Alright, both are exhibit paramagnetism due to the spin as well as orbital motion of electrons. Okay, both actinides and lanthanides, they exhibit paramagnetism due to what? Spin motion as well as orbital motion of electrons. Alright, both have less complexing ability. So both have got less complexing ability. Next point, trivalent compounds are basic and basicity decreases as atomic number increases. Okay, the basic character of lanthanides and actinides decreases as atomic number increases. Both are electropositive, and electropositive character decreases as atomic number increases. Okay, both actinides and lanthanides are electropositive in nature, and electropositive character decreases as atomic number increases. You know that along a period the size goes on decreasing, correct? No? Therefore, the electropositive character decreases as atomic number increases. Alright, next slide. Differences between lanthanides and actinides. Okay, so here you will see the differences between lanthanides and then actinides. Okay, now first part is property. By which property we can distinguish between lanthanides and actinides. Alright, differentiative orbital. Okay, so lanthanides contain 4f orbital, actinides contain 5f orbital. Okay, then binding energy high. In the case of lanthanides, binding energy is high. In the case of actinides, binding energy is low. Okay, shielding effect. Shielding effect is greater in lanthanides, 4f orbitals are present. Actinides lower because 5f orbitals are present. Okay, next point is oxidation state. Maximum oxidation state exhibited is +4. Cerium. Lanthanides contains cerium, which has got a maximum oxidation state. Okay, that is +4. And in the case of actinides, maximum oxidation states are exhibited by what? Uranium. Okay, +4, +5, +6. Uranium has got +6 also. Therefore, maximum, it shows what? Maximum oxidation states. Okay. Next point is radioactivity. Except promethium, all members of the series are non-radioactive. Okay, except promethium, all lanthanide series are radioactive element, non-radioactive elements. Okay. Actinides, all members are radioactive. Okay, here all members are radioactive. Next slide. 6 point, complexing ability. Okay, don't form complexes easily. Lanthanides do not form complexes easily. Okay, whereas actinides form complexes easily. Next point, magnetic properties. Okay, lanthanides are paramagnetic in nature, so magnetic properties can be easily explained. Actinides are also paramagnetic, but it is difficult to explain magnetic properties due to radioactive nature. Because these elements are radioactive in nature, therefore magnetic properties are difficult to be explained. Okay. 8th point, oxocation formation. Okay, lanthanides do not form oxocations, whereas actinides form oxocations. Which are the examples for oxocations? UO2 +2. Okay, and plutonium PuO2 +2. These are called oxocations. Next, color. Most of them are colorless. Lanthanides, most of them are colorless. Okay, whereas actinides, most of them are colored. Alright, most of them are colored. Next slide. Separation of neptunium, plutonium and americium from uranium. Okay, in this we are going to study how to separate neptunium, plutonium and americium from what? Uranium. Okay, the elements neptunium, plutonium, americium are present along with uranium during the processes of nuclear fuels. So in the reprocessing of nuclear fuels, okay, you have what? Uranium, and along with uranium you have what? Neptunium, plutonium and americium. Okay, these elements are extracted from spent fuel. Now how they are extracted? They are extracted from spent fuel rods which have been used in nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactor, you will have spent fuel rods. Okay, they are present in nuclear reactor after nuclear reaction. The separation of these elements are very difficult due to radioactive fission. Now, since these elements are radioactive, it is very difficult because of the radioactive fission. Okay, next slide. Now, how to separate? Okay, the neptunium, americium, etc. from what? Uranium. This is the procedure. Fuel rods are, so you have to take the spent fuel rods, okay, and dissolve it in 7 molar nitric acid. Alright, this will give you solution containing UO2 2+. Okay, oxocation is formed, uranium oxocation, that is UO2 2+, and plutonium in the 4th oxidation state. Plutonium in the 4th oxidation state. Okay, these elements are then extracted by 20% tributyl phosphate. Then they are dissolved in or extracted with 20% tributyl phosphate. In short, it is called TBP. Okay, in kerosene, which is the solvent in kerosene. 20% tributyl phosphate in kerosene is taken as a solvent. Alright, UO2 2+ and plutonium 4 will remain in the organic phase. Okay, there will be 2 phases are formed, aqueous phase and organic phase. Okay, This has been given, okay, in the next slide. Okay, next coming slide, it has been given as flow chart. So at that time you will understand better. All right, UO2 plus and plutonium 4 will remain in the organic phase. The other transuranium elements, okay, which are the transuranium elements? Neptunium, americium and okay, Cm, together with the remaining fission products will come out in the aqueous phase. Okay, so aqueous phase Np, Am and Cm are present. All right, next slide. The solution, okay, containing UO2 2 plus and Pu4 is carefully reduced with sulfur dioxide. Then it is reduced with sulfur dioxide or hydroxylamine NH2OH, okay, which gives Pu3. So Pu4 or in other words gets converted into Pu3, okay, oxygen state plus 4 to reduce to plus 3, okay. This is easily separated from UO2 2 plus and U4 plus by solvent extraction, okay. From this Pu is, okay, that is plutonium is easily precipitated as fluoride or oxalate, which on heating gives PuO2, that is plutonium 4 oxide, okay. That means plutonium in this molecule will be in the 4th oxidation state. All right. Uranium is precipitated as uranium nitrate, which on heating and subsequent treatment with hydrogen at 700 degrees Celsius gives UO2, that is nothing but uranium dioxide or uranium, okay. Next slide. So here is a flow chart given, okay. If you just explain flow chart, that is sufficient, okay. So in brief, flow chart is sufficient. So separation of neptunium and plutonium and americium from uranium, okay. Flow diagram. So spent fuel rods are taken, okay, from the nuclear reactors. You add what, 7 molar nitric acid, alright. When you add, you will get this product, solution of UO2 2 plus plutonium in the 4th oxidation state and then fission products, okay. Then you add what? TBP. What is TBP? Tributyl phosphate in kerosene. You add or extract with the TBP in kerosene, okay. You get 2 phases. One is organic phase, other one is aqueous phase. Is it clear? It is clear from the flow diagram, right? When you extract with the TBP in kerosene, you get 2 phases. One is aqueous phase, other one is what? Organic phase, okay. What is organic phase? What does it contain? UO2 2 plus and Pu4 in TBP, okay. What does the aqueous phase contains? It is containing fission products Np and Am, okay. So americium and then what? Neptunium, okay. Now we will continue the organic phase, okay. Organic phase is separated and then reduced with sulfur dioxide or hydroxylamine, okay. You will get two products, okay, UO2 in TBP and aqueous solution of plutonium 3rd oxidation state, correct. So 2 phases are obtained. One is UO2 plus 2 in TBP and the other one is aqueous solution containing plutonium in the 3rd oxidation state, okay. Now we shall continue from this UO2 2 plus, okay. This phase is separated and extracted with 0.2 molar nitric acid, okay. So it is treated with 0.2 molar nitric acid, okay. You will get product as aqueous UO2 nitrate, okay, uranyl nitrate. This is called uranyl nitrate. So when you extract UO2 plus 2 in TBP, you get uranyl nitrate, okay. This uranyl nitrate on evaporation, okay, on evaporation you get what? UO2 NO3 twice and 6H2. This is the product formed on evaporation, okay. This you heat it to 400 degrees Celsius, you get uranium trioxide, okay, uranium trioxide UO3. This, okay, on heating in the presence of hydrogen at 700 degrees Celsius, uranium dioxide is obtained, okay. Uranium trioxide is converted into uranium dioxide, that means uranium in the 4th oxidation state, correct, 4th oxidation state. Now let us come to the aqueous phase here, okay. So aqueous phase solution of plutonium 3, alright, it is oxidized with nitrous acid. You add to this mixture nitrous acid HNO2, okay. You get aqueous plutonium in the 4th oxidation state, okay. 3rd oxidation state converted into 4th oxidation state, right. Then you treat it with oxalic acid, alright. You treat with the oxalic acid or mix with oxalic acid. What you get? Plutonium oxalate you get. What is the formula of plutonium oxalate? PuC2O4 twice and then 6H2. This is plutonium oxalate, okay. Then you heat it with 300 degrees Celsius. You take a plutonium oxalate, alright, heat it to 300 degrees Celsius. You get what? Plutonium 4 oxide. PuO2 is nothing but plutonium oxide in the fourth oxidation state. Okay, thus we can separate one uranium, plutonium, americium and neptunium. Americium, neptunium, here it is separated. Okay, plutonium is separated here. Okay, plutonium has separated here, and then uranium is separated here. Okay, so thus we can separate neptunium, plutonium and americium from uranium. Okay, from uranium. So with this, this chapter is over. Alright, please go through all the slides. Okay, all the slides. Any difficulty, please contact me. Okay, thank you.